30-06 John here, and today what we're going to be talking about is the Ruger LC Carbine in 10mm and shooting 200 grain jacketed bullets out to 100 yards. This includes one factory load and also a hand load. So keep on watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. My last episode, I was shooting mostly 180 grain jacketed bullets out to 100 yards. This time I'll be working on 200 grain bullets. Shooting this Federal Punch 200 grain. I only have one box of 20. I've already shot most of it up. I have a few left here to shoot out to 50 or 75 and 100. Then I'm working on a hand load using the Hornady XTP 200 grain with accurate number 9 powder. And let's talk about powder selection here for a minute. There's a lot of good powders for 200 grain jacketed 10mm loads. Long shot sort of popular. Blue dot is popular. 2400 is used also. But accurate number 9 is a Magnum powder. I've used this in my 450 Bushmaster and my 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. It's the slowest burning powder of all the ones I just showed. So in a 16-inch barrel, I think that would give us the fastest velocity. Of course, I'll be using the XTP 200 grain bullet. My other components will be Starline brand new unfired brass and CCI large pistol primers. I'll be using the Ruger LC Carbine in 10mm. Also, I have this Vortex Diamondback scope on it. It's 3 to 9 power. For load data, I'm sort of averaging out between two different manuals here. The Nosler manual has 200 grain jacketed bullets with accurate number 9. Their max load is 12.4 grains. Cartridge overall length of 1.260 inches. While the Hornady manual has 200 grain XTPs. Their maximum load is pretty hot here, quite a bit different. It's 13.2 grains. I've shot up to about 12.7 grains of accurate 9 with a 200 XTP before. That's a pretty stout load in a handgun, so I'm going to use 12.5 grains. Here's a few of my first hand loads. I loaded these on my Lee turret press with Lee dies, with a carbide die and a resizer and a Lee factory crimp die. And I weighed all the powder charges. Here at the range, shooting 100 yards. Ruger LC Carbine 10mm. Here's my first target out to 75 yards. Wanted to see where everything was hitting. The Federal Punch shot a nice 3-shot group. Only about barely an inch. I don't have a lot of this ammo. I didn't want to waste too much of it at 75. I wanted to see what it does at 100. My hand load Seemed like I had 5 shots up here. For some reason, 1 or 2 shots went down here. I'm not sure what happened there. The squeezes felt good. It was a little bit windy. It wasn't bad wind, but it was a little bit. So I don't know if that was causing it or it's just my hand loads or what. Here's my 100-yard target. Here's my hand load. 200 grain XTP, 12.5 grains of accurate number 9. CCI large pistol primer, new Starline brass. That's 5 shots, made a pretty respectable 4-inch group right there. My average velocity is 1,385 feet per second. The Federal Punch, this didn't look too bad, but for some reason, I don't know if I pulled that shot or it was just the ammo. A lot of handgun ammo isn't really built to shoot accurate at 100 yards. Usually 25 yards is about the limit. But the average velocity is 1,187 feet per second. Was that a little bit of wind? I was still a little bit concerned about it. Didn't feel like I was getting the best accuracy. So I loaded up some more ammunition. This day there's no wind. I shot at 75 yards with my hand load. I did a little bit of sight correction. 3 shots made a pretty tight 1 3/4 inch group. 100 yards, same hand load there. Shot 5 shots in a 3 3/4 inch group. This is actually pretty good accuracy. So I'm going to say that with that 200 grain XTP hand load, that's a 4-inch or better gun. I didn't have any of the Federal Punch ammunition to retry it again. It might have been a little bit more accurate today with no wind. I did a ballistic chart using the Hornady ballistic calculator. 16-inch barrel, 200 XTP going 1,385 feet per second. Let me zoom in here. Looking at this chart, I have it zeroed for 75 yards. At 100 yards, it's supposed to be 1.9 inches low. Looked like a little bit more drop than that. Energy or velocity at 100 yards is still going 1152. This is what a lot of warm 200 grain 10 mil ammo does at the muzzle. So for a deer gun out to 100 yards, I think that works. One issue you have to be aware of, let me zoom over here, is that with a 10 mile an hour wind, you could have up to, it says here, 4 inches of wind drift. You go to 125 yards, you have 6 inches of wind drift. That's a lot of drift, and that's not that much wind, so you got to be careful about that. But I'll still say that the 10 mil carbine, the 10 mil carbine is with a good load is a 100-yard gun. That's all that I have for today, everyone. Hey, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe and have a nice day.